Oh yeah, the yes, yes, yo, you don't stop. Big John come rocking a short shot. Welcome back to the fastest freaking show in MLB, absolutely anywhere. Oh, with your boy, Big Johnny Stud, coming to you worldwide, Brooklyn, New York, as always, coming out that damn chair as always. Oh my gosh, my butt still hurts from yesterday. Robbie Ray goes out, pitches a gem. Giants give up all of 3 hits. There it is. Okay. Well, Cleveland is up 3 in like the late innings. Right? I mean, they're going to win, right? Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, Seattle got off to a good start. They were ahead when I went to sleep. And what about Texas? We just needed runs scored. They scored in the first off that gas can Springs. They had to get it home. Oh my gosh. Combine number 2 not off to a great start, but that's why we do the things we do. No need to ever get out in front. There is plenty of opportunities in the betting and the trading world. Always prove profitability. Earn your way in the markets. That is a really good lesson. So we're going to just keep making our way around this ball of fire, cruising around on the bowl of water. 15 games today on the slate. I think we got 3 early on. We'll do the Dirty Dozen. Circle back for a little Skyrockets in Flight afternoon parlay delight. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Follow me up on Twitter at John Legeza. Flow is sharper than a damn razor. We're in mid-season form. Doing all the damn things you get. Everything, man. Everything. Everything is Ari when you wrote us. Algo, full game, first 5, edge calculations, bullpen stats. Team stuff. We'll be walking you through it. It's all advanced. It's split. It's formatted. It's compartmentalized. We got individual hitter stats also. The Cook Bullpen Report. Sortable pitcher stats, right? You get the view-only matchup sheet we'll be mentioning in a second. Implied team totals, SP ranks. We got fantasy waivers, picks, and all of these stuffs and things when you roll with us. But, of course, without any further ado, the best how to waking up. Pitching sheets, piping hot, in the mug. Best way to start the day. I know I mentioned 3 games. Okay, Boston is up. They're going to be on the second go-around. I've got my stopwatch. We've got our new streamlined format. But as I always promise, before we rip the cord, we're up in the comments. Brian Rose, I'll get you in a second. He's got his ticket up. Appreciate that. Brooklyn's own, my dude, one of my new capos in the crew. After a great Monday, should be, it wasn't a great Monday for me. Well, I hope you're doing great again. And one you should never be tailing blindly to. This goes to my point. Check out the Twitter handle. Our guy Jason, right, hitting those both teams to score. Him and Jeff, right, with the tail. They were talking about it in the comment section. Manifest in the real world. They came up with a green screen. 100 ways to skin a cat without scratching his asshole. Brian's ticket up on the board, then we're going to rip the cord. Looks like a great day. We got Baltimore and Boston ML, so that's Bradish and Early. I love that. Pittsburgh and Houston ML, that's Machinsky and Arrighetti and Meatballs. I'm a little scared of the debut, but he's pretty sharp. Houston looks good. White Sox to win, Burke, I like that one. Yankees run line on the bounce back. Dodgers run line. Also, they won, right? They beat the Mets. Mets also scored one early. They didn't get it done. If I'm ever popular enough to get a drive time show, we'll do like a recap first, Dun, 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 dun. All right. Who the F want what? It's Seth Lugo and the Royals with cheese on the bump. Plus 113 dog. They're down in Detroit Rock City to face Captain Jack Flaherty. Yarr. And the Tigres. Minus 135 on the Tiger side. We had Royals F5 yesterday. That went well. I had Detroit in my high-stakes Survivor League. They came back and won. That was good for me. Nothing wrong with that. Those Survivor tournaments are so much fun. If you haven't joined on yet, I think we're going to launch a few more through the season. Got to go 500 or better throughout the week. So Lugo v. Flaherty. Lugo, always a guy that I've liked. He had a bit of a rough season with the underpinning stuff last year. He's bounced back in a major way. That was one of the more obvious bounce back calls. Not Lugo, Cy Young, but the fantasy industry is really interesting and does set the table for betting, right? Where what players are being undervalued, who's being slept on. That stuff manifests in the market, right? These are all live money markets. Flaherty thought of as more of an impact guy. He's off to a bit of a struggle here. Man, I didn't realize the Flaherty struggles. I think on its face, he's still pretty effective. The worry is always, right, pumping that fastball too often below 94 in the zone and getting yoked. So maybe I've got the starting pitching is a wash. I'm flipped over to the year-to-date offense. No, not. Shit. Uh-oh. I need one of those, the technical difficulty thing with the monkey band. All right, man, this is the worst part about live TV. I think I'm going to say bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to try and clean this up in real time somehow. I'm not sure what the F I did, but I do have a chance to clean it. You'll be seeing yours if you're signed in. Things starting to move around. Shoot. Uh-oh, that didn't go the way I hoped it would go. I got one more possible answer, and if not, oh no, am I screwed? Oh no. Okay, if not, I'm going to go alphabetical and I'll read it that way. Give me 30 more seconds. Just going frantic behind the scenes right now. Something got misstrued. Okay, I think I found it. Hold on, we're gonna off and running in a second. And there we go. Let me just fix the L7 as well. Sorry about that, mi gente. And we're good to go. Yeah, you know what happened? Whatever, it's a long story. I did the wrong slate the night before and packaged it and pulled the wrong game order. So most apologies, but again, I am the one-man band. You also see how quick this shit happens, and you're corrected now in real time. All right, now we're looking at the actual offense. This is last 7 days. Now we're back on track with the full game. That was the worst radio I could have done, but hey, you do the best, very best we can. Tigers' offense definitely better. Royals' offense has got to, get up off the mat soon, right? I mean, oh, yes, they've got the talent. Bobby Witt is eventually going to score runs this century. It's just not happening. The approach is good. The elevation is good. They're even hitting the ball hard. They just haven't scored runs. The ball won't fall. They're stealing. I guess the balls haven't gotten out, but a decent amount of doubles. Royals offense is definitely bubbling. L7 not looking strong. Maybe I'm feeling like a little bit of a wash here. Algo says, oh, by the way, let's shout out our guy Jaybird. I saw him in the comment section before. Jay, if you'll notice, sorry, look, now you don't look at my fat face. You'll notice I put the orange boxes back up on the Algo sheet. So shout out to Dream for hooking me up with the wager talk thing. I'm a little bit afraid to run it while I have a million things going on. So I go and just scrape the 3.5. That's just it. I want to know who's at a 3.5 so you can compare easily. It says that up in the top. I'll try and build a key as we go as well. So yeah, I think I'm to the under here. I think I like the U 4.5 on the F5 if that's out there. Books are still kind of populating. Man, my bookie used to be so early with the F5s, and this morning it was up and then it came down. I brought it up on my phone and thought, oh, sometimes I get fucked with on my desktop stuff, and then it just all disappeared. Now it's not up anywhere. So yeah, I had a 4.5. If that's it, if that's the one that I want, let me just make my show pick column. Sorry about all the production mishaps today, but again, a absolute metric ton goes into this show. I think I make it look a little bit easier than maybe it is. I'm a fucking routine hound. All right, so I think we're back. We're basically back on track. Yeah, I think you got to go under. This one's a little bit too close to call. Model likes the Tigers by a smidge at home, but not enough to cover the price. So this is really milk toasty, right? This one feels like 3-3, 4-3, any way you like it. I know sometimes people wish I had a little bit more of a solid, firm take, but that's just not always the case. So give me the F5 under, and we're going to move it on. I'm going to try and get this bitch back on the tracks. Again, sorry about that game order stuff. Routine matters. Next up, Jake the Snake, Schwervin Irvin on the bump for the Nacionals. They're down in Steel City to face Carmen Michinski, aforementioned. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, you'll notice the wind emoji. That's up there. That's kind of being reflected in the totals at 5 and 9, which probably feels a little bit high. I think Pirates have the edge pretty firmly pitching. Michinski, who was more of like a bulk long relief guy, starting to shape up into something serious, worth giving a thought. Pittsburgh's ability to get a lot out of their pitching right now. So something that was Guardians, Dodgers, I think we have to start including Pittsburgh and Minnesota. Looks like they're maybe part of the conversation. Now, the fail point here is always the fail point when you play against Washington. The offense has been awesome, and they steal tons of bases. They're scoring tons of runs. They're making contact. They're being aggressive. They're getting line drives, right? Line drives into doubles plus steals that run. They're a pain in the arse. Do you have the faith in Michinski, who I like, to pay that kind of heavy tax? Now, I kind of flip past the L7. Bullpen for Pittsburgh has been okay. Bullpen for Washington is ass. Also, do we want to pay a, minus 180 to have to win kind of in extras? And that part I'm not so sure about. Sorry, I had the same issue on the bullpen stats. Now that's also fixed. Yeah, Washington bullpen is just gross. I like Pittsburgh to win. I absolutely think they win. We're right on the border for the cover, but it's wind blowing out with a pesky offense. I think you need to leave this one alone because I think we get to the 9. I think Pittsburgh wins. I think it's all a little too expensive to find out. Next up, Tyler Mahle going for the Gigantes. They're leaving that beautiful bridge, heading for Cincinnati to face Rhett Louder Music on the bump for the Redlegs. Minus 118 for the Giants. The San Francisco Treats. Minus 102 for the home squad. Two pitchers I definitely like. Now, this isn't really a wind case. We're back to basics with the environment, right? Cincinnati thought of as a optimal hitting environment. Books are now starting to reflect that. I have the book line as part of the model, and it should be. So I think I'm getting dragged up here. I'm a little iffy, meaning I'm under this number. But this is where we're challenging, right? So as constituted, the reason I mentioned that is I included a boost for the ballpark, and I still came up under. That said, anytime you go under in Coors, under in Sacramento, under in Cincy, when the book has a 9 or greater, you're taking, your stuff in your hands a little bit. Now, given the two pitchers and my doubts that they're going to go distance, I think you want to try and hop on an under. It looks like it's an F5. I'd probably go that route. Otherwise, it's a little too close. I literally have a tie. Reds probably have the edge on offense, although that might say more about the Giants than it does about the Reds. They've both been terrible. Reds, the approach is at least a little strong, but they're neither is hitting for power. The Giants don't run or hit for power. This offense is kind of crapola. I guess they've improved a little bit last 7. I'm not seeing enough to say trajectory change. Bullpen's again a wash. Maybe giving Cincy the edge. Pagan looked like he came up lane. Be careful with that one. A lot of mixed signals here. It's not the dead of summer where I'm totally terrified of going under in Cincy in the Great American Small Park. So I think I'm going to do it here because I think the offense is kind of blow. I think both pitchers are pretty good and maybe good enough. Again, we get that 5, right? That flat 5 builds in a kind of natural level of comfort, because, you're under. Guy gives up 2, guy gives up 2. You don't feel like under is hitting, but you get that 5th run, which we definitely love. And even if the 5th run crosses, at least we're only talking about a push. So I think Washington, Pittsburgh, I'm passing. San Fran, Cincy. I'm going to go F5, U5. Don't go up to minus 130. We want to get this one at minus 118 or better. Next up, most honorable, Shota Imanaga on the bump for the Baby Bears. They are leaving the Windy City, heading down to Broad Street to face the Jesus Lizard, Jesus Lizardo, on the bump for the Fightin' Phils. Minus 135 for Lizardo. Imanaga out the box. Hot to death right now. Kind of kicking myself. I traded him for a bag of fucking oranges in a keeper league. And yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself. Now, it has yet to play out. Of course, me, right, the person who liked Noah Schultz, right, all those guys, first round talent, big fucking arm strength. I'm a sucker. I kept Bubba Chandler and Connolly early over Shota. Right now, it kind of looks stupid. Again, fantasy stuff, Shota was 1 year and the other guys were 2 full years. So I think the math worked out, but Shota is hot to trot right now. And got to be careful, right, with these guys that we've seen be really good. Throwing them away after, last year was not even bad, but like this year he looks back to full form, where Lizardo the other way, right, this is like a battle of the samples. I'm sorry to confuse anybody with the scrolling, but so Lizardo, right, super strong, last 201 innings of elite production. 29K, 22 KBB, 35 ball. He's ahead. He gets chases, keeps it down. Balls in the yard. He's off to a rough start. Cubs offense has really not been great. Let's roll over to the lefties. It's only 200 plate appearances. It's also a weak split. So, again, this is the battle of the samples. Larger sample guy says, we could buy Monaco because he has a good sample. We could buy Lizardo. We're back on Lizardo, meaning. Smaller sample guy says, Imanaga should not be an underdog. My worry, Phillies offense is starting to, tick up. And when they're making contact and starting to hit home runs, that's when I'm kind of looking out. Obviously, that's when runs are scored. Imanaga, fly ball pitcher, that's when I start to worry. So I don't love the matchup here. I'm really fence-sitting hard here. Model likes Phillies by a nose, not enough to justify the price. I don't know. I got this one close. I think the bet I like the most is probably really expensive. I think I like Cubs plus 1.5, but it's like minus 180. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Out of curiosity, F5 run line looks like minus 125. Maybe I could dig on that. Looks like the timer is about to run out, and I think we're going to move on. I think that's my move. It's Cubbies run line. Let me see if there's a clue in the bullpens before we get moving. Man, Phillies bullpen has been really good. Yeah, so maybe it's an F5 run line. We're just hoping that Lizardo continues to hiccup. Imanaga kind of continues the dominance. Part of me was maybe leaning towards this as an under, but the 4.5 made me a little bit worried. Out in Philly is a good place to hit. So right now I'm going to put that Cubs run line. Shota just pitching out of his mind with a good offense, getting a decent price while we get that extra run. Next up, it's the Angels and Jack Kahanowitz on the bump for the Halos, plus 160 dog on the road against Louis Hill and the New York Yankees. I don't even know, how did that game end up yesterday? Poorly, I'd imagine. Poorly for the Yankees here. They lost 7-1. We were talking about that. Not that I don't like Weathers. But like those are the days you bet against the heavy favorites, right? They have to lose. When are they going to lose? When the pitching stuff is hairy, when they're pitching facing guys with really great stuff. That's not the case today. So where I was kind of brake pumping against Detmers, Kahanowitz, I think kind of blows. He's off to a really good start, but the Sierra is 5.4. The KBB is at 1.5. I'm not buying it. Hill is not off to any better of a start. He has poor command and control. However, I think that might play up against the Angels, who kind of fucking swing at everything. So that's when, not this good, you gotta watch ball, bro. But when you watch Hill, that's kind of his thing. He misses the zone, like a lot. Like a lot. But if you're poorly disciplined, those pitches look really good. Now, the Angels haven't really chased, but they do lose in zone. They do swing and miss. The offense is very much a Spider-Man gif of the Yankees. Like, if you just look at the top two rows. Now, granted, Yankees XCon pure damage is a little bit better, right? You see that reflected in the frequency of hard hit balls. But like the template is exactly the same. Low average, all homers, high ISO, high K, high walk. High swingage strike, high chase, low contact. High ground ball, low line drive, high fly ball, high pull rate. I mean, the Angels are the fucking Timu version of the Yankees. Now, Hill, also kind of a fly ball guy, going to be vulnerable in this spot. Man, I'm worried because of the pricing. So I've got this two ways. I think it's Yankees run line or over 9, right? I think we have a chance of this one just running. I think Kahanowitz gets exposed. Yankees bats bounce back. Everything is just kind of screaming that. Plus, I know this is a poor way to handicap, but it's a data point. I don't know what that means, right? A really great offense coming off just a shit performance. I love to back great starting pitchers coming off getting shelled. I love to back really great offenses after doing dick. Everybody thinks, oh, they suck, And yes, it happens. You can flatline for a few games in a row. I tend to think that's more likely when the underpinning stuff is weak. So that Yankee run line, are we getting at least a plus? It's plus 102, so I could dig on that. The total, however, I'm sorry, I'm going to fix this, jumped to 10.5. Holy macaroni. I wonder if they got some weather news there. I don't think I'm going to go on the over anymore. I don't really want the 11. So let's just move on for there. It's Yankee. Give me Yankee run line or give me death. So Yankees to cover at plus 102. And we'll move it on from there. The Sheriff Chris Paddock on the bump for the Marlins. He's a plus 140 dog on the road against Bryce the Elder, who he was my biggest fade candidate ever. Then he pitched well enough for long enough to get me to turn, and then I think I got burned the last time, right? So this is just perfect, right? Big sample guy, although I shouldn't say I got burned. He went 4 2/3, gave up 2. I wonder if they lost or maybe I'm just stupid. He was not going to keep up, a 0 ERA season. But Elder a little bit better than I'd given him credit for. Have some pitch mix stuff going on that we identified. Maybe he's not as bad as I thought. Now, Paddock, another guy we used to kind of jump on, he's more of a zone filler, right? He's just going to go throw strikes, but he's very hittable. 34 home runs in his last 172 2/3. He's out of the box slow, where Elder's been really good. I guess that's the reason for the season on the price. Miami offense has been good, though. They're making contact. They've been disciplined, even hitting the ball enough, tons of steals. I don't know if they've got enough to win this one. But I think maybe this is another one that I think maybe I have a team total, or maybe this one's in over. Both bullpens have been good. Maybe it's like an F5. I haven't bet the M5 team totals yet. I only have the Miami Schmid's over 2. Atlanta at 2-3. This one's kind of screaming under, and that gives me an awful feeling, especially with the 5 out there. I think I'm going to fade this one. Gut saying like Atlanta, chalk, smash. I'm a little bit worried. Miami's just done just enough through every phase, right? The offense has done just enough. The bullpen has done just enough. Though Fairbanks came back and got fucking shellacked, right? The Braves are unhittable. Again, if there's like a gun to my head show pick, it's the Braves win. I'm back on that Braves offense, and I'm never really digging Paddock. And I think I'm buying enough of the Elder saga. All right, let's move it on. Getting a good pace now with the clock, kind of keeping me in check. Jesse Scholten's debuting for the Flat Fucking Fish of Florida. Jesse and the Rippers are minus 115. Slight favorites against Sean Burke and the White Sox. Yeah, I'm with Brian on this one. Brian found even money. Yeah, give me White Sox to win. I don't even want to bury the lead on this one. I think we've got the better team here, right? I think we have the better chance of winning this baseball game, of winning this American baseball game. DK has a minus 102, so you probably find even money. Looks like you might get Cole Sulser to open up. I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter. Rays are going bullpen game. Burke, who, again, this is another good indicator of the fantasy industry. Fantasy herbs were all over Burke 2 years ago. They put the cart before the horse and kind of overpaid for him. Now, like, he's turning heads again. Now, the season-long stuff looks crappy. I thought he looked great last time out. One bad outing can throw that off. Let me just check his last 2 outings have actually been good. Burke went 6, gave up 1, struck out 7 Blue Jays. Then went 5, gave up 2, walked 2, struck out 3 Orioles. Kind of tough competition there. So I think Burke is back on track as like an F5 kind of hero. We love those guys that kind of pitch. Tampa offense, probably better than the White Sox, but one that doesn't say much. I'm just not really digging the bullpen stuff now. Both bullpens have been kind of shitty. Sorry, Brian, I can't remember if you put full game or F5. I probably want the first 5 here. Right, Burke, I just went 5. If we're like tied through 5, I don't have any faith that we're going to get it in. I guess quick, we could look at the Chicago bullpen. Taylor hasn't pitched in 2 days, so he's available. No one's pitched in 2 days. Taylor, Leisure, Dominguez, Newcomb. So, I guess that's okay. Where Baker pitched yesterday, but he only threw 2 pitches there. But they're both rested. Now, I'd rather just take the kind of safer, more conservative route and go with the F5 and kind of get out with my ass intact. Right, because if we're winning after 5, we win. If we're pushed after 5, we get out. And sometimes, I make the case, if the underdog is tied after 5, we may be getting a better price if you'd have bet this live. So, just a little kind of thought in real time. Let me just try and check. I'm trying to get a live price on it. Looks like the Sockums, it's starting to move towards them a little bit. I see like a minus 111 or something like that, but that's my move. Give me White Sox, F5 to get in and out on the Rays. Next up, Dylan, stop, cease, and desist. Going for the Bluebirds. They've got the frying pan emoji, but still favorites on the road against Chad Patrick, 2 names in the Cheesemakers. Interesting. How bad is the Toronto bullpen? Quick click over to the tab with the matching pen. Hoffman, 2 of 3, 44 pitches. Rogers, 2 of 3, 24. Varland, 2 of 3, 35. And Fluharty, 2 of 3, 28. So not out of the question. They might be looking to give Hoffman some rest after, right, he gave up the barn. So that bullpen, not great. And taxed. Milwaukee bullpen also struggling. Man, Patrick and Cease is a tough one. I don't want to go out on the limb and say I'd rather have Patrick than Cease, because that's kind of nutty. I think Patrick might be a little more reliable for my money. I don't know why I feel that way. It's the command and the control. Cease definitely better on a per inning basis. You know, you got to roll with Cease, and he's off to a great start. So is Patrick. Maybe the answer here is the under. Though Toronto was off to a rough start. They've been hitting of late. Opposite to be said for the Brewers. They were off to a good start. They're horrendous right now. So, man, if you believe in Patrick at all, maybe the sneaky attack is to the under. And, of course, you want that F5, nothing to do with these bullpens. I mean, yeah, Model kind of playing out with that call. So I think that's my move right now. Patrick, again, not like a world beater, but a better pitcher than I think the public gives you credit for, right? The public, yes, my bookie F5s are up. The public more greatly represents the sucker that I am, right? The sucker in me, right? I'm not a total sucker, but the sucker in me falls for the swing and miss and all the youngster stuff, all the shit I was mentioning before with Noah Schultz. Where Patrick, a little bit more boring. Now, bookie, MB actually moved that to U4, but the price is near even. So you still might be able to get under 4.5 million. They gassed it to shit. So it might be a little pricey. Again, I don't generally pay like a minus 140 for unders. I generally don't do that. But that's my pick. I don't want to go under with the way these bullpens are and the state of the Toronto pen. I'm worried about going with the Milwaukee F5 because I think Cease has been good and Milwaukee is struggling. So, shit. I'm going to put 4.5. Again, we could get under the 4. You get out with the push. Without paying that extra, where if you bust out with, maybe that's the answer. Maybe that is the answer. I need to deal with that sometimes. I don't like the 4 because I don't like the pushes. There's so many combinations. But the fact of the matter is the 5 and you lose either way. And in the long term, it's probably just cheaper. It's cheaper to keep her, but the thriller is the killer. Any other electricians? Any electricians know that one? Yeah, so give me the under and let's move it on. Next up, in another disaster again, I hate to do the arrogance thing. And I know I was wrong, right? We did it with the Texas. The ballpark was not getting the respect. I, however, am not ready to take the loss on that just yet. I didn't see all the ballpark stuff. I didn't see how hard the balls were hit. Were there robbed home runs? Were there web gems? I don't know the deal. Now, I am a little shocked that there were only 8 total hits and 3 total runs in that game. We'll get to that in a second. This one, though, we also were strongly, leaning over, and that was a fucking smash. This went over in, the 3rd inning, Colorado and Houston. I'm not sure what it is. I think the public is shitting on Colorado's offense, and they're better than you think. Right? That was kind of it. So, Jose Quintana retread. He's on the bump for the Rockies. I'm not even sure. He debuted. Okay, he debuted and was not good. Walked more batters than he struck out. And Arrighetti making a debut. The fantasy community is over their skis for Arrighetti and meatballs, which I get. But in debuts, we should have known better with Schultz, which is why we didn't bet that one. I like the White Sox, but I like that the stupid mark in me, right? The rookie sucker in me like that bet. And that's who, would like this bet. I think this, again, is an over or nothing. I'm actually worried Quintana is going to sharpen and frustrate the hell out of everybody. The fail point there is, of course, the Houston offense is the best offense in baseball right now outside of the Dodgers. They're doing everything that you could ask for. 347 xWOBA as a team is freaking awesome. I mean, like, look, 714 PA, so this is a full player season. 45 doubles, 20 homers, right? Not a crazy amount of powder, but you love 45 doubles. Scored 102 runs with 9 steals. Bat 272, single-digit KBB, 42 pull, 40 hard hit, just under, 9 barrel, 130 WRC plus. Really solid team. Other side, Rockies, yes, on the surface, the disciplinary stuff is gross. Are we going to get that with Arrighetti today out of the box? I think that's really the uncertainty. Last 7, we've seen the Rockies start to hit, and even a little bit away from home, which is a nice sign. And these are the things that score runs, right? Homers and steals. They're being aggressive, lots of line drives, hitting the ball hard. You know, that's really how you get there. So I'm leaning, and I want to hang out with the wang out, stick out with the dick out, rock out with the cock out, but I'm afraid to recommend this Colorado F5. Part of me thinks that answer maybe it's the run line. Again, when my bookie's up, hit me up for a referral. They have the best F5 prices and the best F5 page. Let me see. Run line. It's minus 105, so they're making it really expensive, as it should be. Right? That was our first real edge getting into the business. Those were mispriced. And we were killing all those tie games. Plus 150 for the Rocks. And, to me, I'm not going to bet it. I feel like that's the sharp play. I would go back to the well with the scoring. I think the Astros are locked in. I think the Rockies are starting to lock in. And I think 8.5 is entirely too low. That's also getting juiced. It's probably going to be a 9 soon. So give me Colorado, Houston, 8.5 with a sharp lean towards a Colorado win. I'm not paying, right? I like to identify bad chalk sometimes. To me, that's bad chalk. That price is bad chalk. A debuting pitcher without a great track record in the first place against a little bit of an ascending offense. Again, it's all price. It really is just price. I was going to just say price 700 fucking times. These minus 180s where you're not expecting a complete murder job, where the model kind of tells you over one full run. And honestly, I have a little bit of doubts. The model, I think, is shortchanging Quintana, but it loves the Houston offense, especially their lefties, namely Jordan Alvarez kills lefties. So they're just a very strong team. All right, next up, Emerson John Hancock on the bump for the M's. You know I'm not going to bet against him. I'm an Emerson. I am an Emerson Hancock mark. Get your fucking swords. Get your fucking shields. This isn't madness.
This is Sparta!
So I'm just a total junkie for Emerson Hancock. All these stuffs and things I usually fall for. Right, kind of hard-throwing former first-rounder who stunk and got discarded, and now he's back, and looking fantastic. People were trying to LOL me because my boy gave up runs in the first inning. Did he settle down and finish the fucking job? I think he did. 204.74 ERA whip combo, 255 Sierra, 26 KBB. He's been awesome. Flip side, Randy Macho Man Savage has been freaking awesome. I used to auto-fade the Macho Man. He's like a Bryce Elder. I mean, seriously, before the season as a joke, if you would have told me your worst nightmare was going to come true, give me the 2 pitchers that if they, were to completely go nuts, would just absolutely break your heart, and that's it. It's Randy Vasquez and Bryce Elder for sure. Sorry, I see so many comments. Thank you, everybody, for participating. There's got to be some back and forth going on. I saw over 30 comments. That's when I start to worry. Things are not going well. So I want to give a special assignment to any of my, the Bryans out there, the Jays, the AMs, all the early birds, right? My early bird crew. When this launches, the levels are good. Like a thumbs up. Everything sounds good, looks good. Because I'm the idiot that will yell at a computer screen on fucking mute for an hour. It is so disappointing. That's from experience. It sucks. So, back to the task at hand. Of course, I forgot the timer. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. I want to bet on Hancock. But betting on unders is also vocalizing support for the pitcher. I have Seattle offense up on the board. They're atrocious. Bottom 5, swinging miss. Bottom 5, zone contact. Bottom 5, hard hit. Just a 300 WOBA. 205 batting average as a team, and they don't steal. This is bad. Padres, not much better. The discipline we expected is starting to degrade. They're chasing way too much. Swing and miss more than we expect. Balls in the ground. Rest of the underpinning stuff probably checking out. They are scoring some runs because they are stealing bases. Last 7, we're seeing the Padres kind of shake up a little bit. Not that the discipline's been great. They're hitting the shit out of the ball. Never a bad thing. Also stealing bases. Got to give the Padres offensive edge right now. Both bullpens have been phenomenal. This one looks like FG08. Looks like we got 08s out there. Which is a U8 minus 112. If the F5 is 4.5, maybe that's the move I like also. It is. The U4.5 is a little juicy. So you probably want to get on that bitch sooner than later. Again, I want to bet Emerson Hancock, F5 minus 110. I'm worried that San Diego gets him for 1 or 2, which again is a win, right, under 4.5. And the Mariners don't get Vasquez. I don't know if I have the confidence. So far this year, Vasquez has really cleaned it up, man. It's really been looking good. Cutting down the homers. Squaring up the command and control. And again, this doesn't necessarily have to be a Randy Vasquez for Cy Young argument so much as he's just got to keep him to like 3 or below, really, right? And I was trying not to fucking tangent, but when the brush fire starts to go, sometimes I can't fight this feeling any longer. I got to pop the Statcast. Let's see. Velo is up. Four-seamer usage is up. For the sinker down, which is good. He's starting to get a crazy amount of whiffs on the fastball, which was never really the deal. But adding velo with improving shape means they've retooled it. And that doesn't mean like, oh my gosh, now we're super high at him. But that is a total green flag, checkered flag for change. Right? Seeing velo, shape, run equal swing and miss on that pitch, like, that's everything that you'd want to look for. That I'm sure they changed the grip. So yeah, let's go F5 U4.5. Seattle, San Diego. And moving on. Like I said, I think that one was a little juicy, but I feel pretty strongly about that one. If you don't ever like to pay juice for totals, my plays, give me Seattle F5. I think they win and bounce back, but again, the San Diego bullpen's not really one to fuck with. Next up, Kumar Rocker Roller on the bump for the Texas Walker Rangers. Minus 108 on the road in Sacramento against JT Ginn and the Atleticos. This is like over or nothing. I'm going to be honest. I'm starting to get a sense that I missed something on an import just on that one. The Athletics F5 didn't look like it responded to... Okay, it did it. I got to do this in real time also. Hold on just a second. So, yeah, it's over or nothing. Again, you're going to see, the reason I'm saying that is the F5 totals were ringing really low. And the full game, I think, is there. Yeah, the full game is there. We're over the 9.5. So it's just that one. Yeah, I see that. Okay, so just that one data point. I got to roll this. I got to just roll this back a little bit. Hold on just a second. All right, you know what? This is better off here so I don't fuck this up. All right, just be wary of that low F5 Texas Athletics. I got to... Hold on. I got to fucking do it. It's bothering me. Okay, hold on. Here it comes. All right, that's it right there. I got it. Sorry, party people. That's more like it. Now it's a match. I'm not. It's like I said, the full was in already. Okay, so back to hand. Sorry about that, but again, there's so much going on behind the fucking scenes here, and then to try and produce this stuff, it's crazy. But I love it. I live for it. So Rocker, who I like, I don't think I do in this spot. He's wild at times. Then when he has to force in zone, I worry about the home runs because he gets barreled all the time. Again, I don't. The big swing and miss stuff that we thought we were getting him coming up hasn't really manifested yet. They're turning him into more of a contact ground ball guy, which of course can work. I don't think we like contact in this environment. Jin, I don't think gets enough love on a permanent basis. He could be a bit wild also, and then you get the same problem. Wild, forced in zone, not great stuff, not great velo, then gets demolished. We didn't get runs yesterday. Give me the sucker bet for a bounce back and runs today. 9.5 is so high. I just don't care. I'm going to fade this one. For me, Sacramento turns into like a core situation where it's over or nothing. Don't do pitching analysis. Maybe you take a sniff at underdogs if you're getting a great price. Never, ever, 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 ever pay juice in these fucking pinball machines. It's really kind of silly. All right, next up, making best time of the year so far. And then we're going to get out of here with a quick board read and a 3-leg afternoon parlay. Then I'm going to do some comment scrolling. Clay Holmes on the bump for the Let's Go Mets Go, plus 185, heavy dog against Shohei Ohtani, the fucking GOAT. The book probably has as much trouble pricing this shit as I do. Mets were up yesterday. This is baseball. Happens all the time. And who was it? Damn. Was it Peterson? Might have been Peterson. Mets go up, but that was it. Dodgers just do everything. Offense hung in there. Pitching settled down. Bullpen cleaned it up. Mets offense has been gross. Just to put like a little bit on that, like to put some reference on that. I keep seeing all these stats about the Mets. Mets last 7 days, 237 plate appearances. They have just 10 runs scored. Oh my gosh. They're batting 182 with a 215 OBP, 13 swing and strike, 37 chase, a 37 WRC plus. Mets are eventually going to get up off the mat. Is it going to happen against Ohtani? Probably not. Probably not. But again, it's baseball. Anything can happen. Holmes, not great put-away stuff, but pretty good command control. Better than average, let's call it. It's all contact, but he's very good at commanding the lower quarter, lower third, forcing those kind of weak ground balls. This, to me, has always been the type of pitcher to beat the Dodgers. I just never had the fucking guts because I like a little bit of offense and I'd like a little bit of weakness. And it's funny, I was going to say, like, we want to attack the Robleskis of the world. The guys that go fucking 8 shutout. That's who we want to go after. But I mean, the not Cy Young fucking potential guys. So it's a nightmare. Let me just see really quick. Algo says. Dodgers have a kill job. And again, and it's funny. This is why I mentioned the pricing is so tough. I have the Dodgers to murder them. But I'm still not even close to that price. It goes to show you, it's really, really, really tough. It's really tough to justify that. Like, what's funny? We could probably do a little lesson here if you're looking up at the board. I'm going to correct these. Don't shit yourself if you're looking up at the board. But like, how do you even get, what does a minus 225 even look like? So no, not 6'1", 6'2", no. All right, so it's like 6, so you have to have like a 3, it'd have to be 6'3". I'm going to back all this stuff out. But now, this for any of the subs, somebody told me that you can copy, that I think you can copy this and use it on your own. If not, because I'm not sure I wasn't sure you could do that. Someone told me you can. If not, this is a good one. If you would like a copy of your own Algo template. Now, it's not going to have formulas, but it will have all of the edge calculations and total stuff built in, meaning you just input your own projected scores, it'll do all the rest. You also would have to input odds, right? The odds we don't have. You have to input the odds. Then you kind of copy your own. So let me know. I will make that available to people. I'll have to figure out a way. I could maybe either create a new sheet with a public opening or something. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do. I'll make a new sheet where you have editing access, and that'll be really cool. So I think hopefully that was a really good idea. No, I think about you. I love you. You know what I mean? That'll be really fucking cool. So you'll be able to, the same way I did, input your own scores and see where you are. Again, you don't want to be using my stuff like, oh, this is gospel. This is just a mathematical interpretation of a mean outcome. That's all it is. It's a really smart friend making a data-backed argument. That's all it is. All right, last but not least is the Skyrockets in flight. Let's do a little afternoon delight. E-Rod on the bump for the Diamondbacks. They're 135 dogs against Kyle Bradish and the Orioles. I have the Orioles with a clean win. I also, have the Diamondbacks with the emoji. So if you're pairing, to me it's Baltimore money line. If not, Baltimore run line. Right, if you're playing straight, play for the 130. I think you get the win and feast. If you don't get the E-Rod regression, I think you feast and late. I'm creating a parlay, so give me the money line, right? You always want to play towards the conservative side. Then it's a Slade of Chicane and the Guards on the road against Dustin May and the Cardinals. Man, I liked Cleveland for the win, but it's a little too close, even at the price, because of the bullpen stuff, like Cade Smith might not be available. I think I want the over on this one. It's 8.5. Now, also, one thing I like to do before I ever lock in a parlay that has a total is look for the alts. Again, you're parlaying here. Well, you should be doing it in the first place. So you might as well not saying compound mistakes, but lean into the thing that might actually get you to the fucking window. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be greedy in your parlay. You should be ultra conservative. Right, so you bring it down. The idea of the parlay shouldn't be like to max the payout, but max the win percentage. Because it's that low win percentage that's in your, killing you, right? So if I can get an 0.8, I think that's my move. DK normally so good with these alt lines. I think I can actually build this. I kind of like to get an idea of what it's like. A lot of times the juice line is not as bad as you think. It's just not as bad as you think. This one happens to be. Well, that's life in a big city. But it's still the play I like. And then last but not least is the Red Sox. Connolly early. Put early in the Hancock bin. I'm a Stan. I'm a Mark. And I'm not going to be betting against him. He's going to have to completely collapse against the Twins and Simeons, Woods, Richardson. I'm not buying this Twins nonsense. So give me Boston. So that's my three pack. Boston's at minus 130. I'm probably going to bet that straight. But those three, Baltimore win, Boston win, over 8.5. That's a plus 383. If we were to, kind of donkey it up, you're going Baltimore run line. We're going over the 8.5 in St. Louis. And Boston gets the cover with the 9th frame. That one's plus 880. I mean, that one is like making your eyes light up. But of course, that one's not going to fucking hit. So that'll do it. Thank you for supporting the show, everybody. Listen, we're over 400 subs and making our way. The comments section just blowing up all over the place. I'm going to take a quick scroll right now. Just all you people, you sick scoundrels. Thank you so much for, again, just supporting the show. I'm one person trying to help everyone. And it can be overwhelming, and I never let it get to me, right? I never get down, losing the bets. We're up every day. We don't throw the ball. We don't swing the bat, but we do control the work ethic, and that's what this bitch is all about. So again, Brooklyn's own, shouted it out. Brian, Jason, of course. Manis is here. Says, take your time. We're here for the ride. Love that one. Gotta love it, man. B. Rose, Mark S., always here. Going to take it light. Spending my time in the NFL draft. Nothing wrong with that. Mr. Elfring, good morning, sir. Says good morning, crew. Love to see everybody kind of getting it on. Jeff L. in the bitch, making donuts. Man, I love the back and forth here. I can't even open these all up. This is great. I'm going to go back and read this stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of shapes how I'm feeling. AM says, anyone use the hitters tab? Been posting a few on my X to see, for others to see. Oh, yeah, Jason. They do really good. And I couldn't help but wonder, I've been seeing a lot of green screens. Some people ask me not to share stuff. Which, again, whatever, I don't want to argue the old heads. I'm like, nobody will fucking know. I'm going to blank everything out. No, but you can undo the thing. I'm like, whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to argue. And I wonder if that's a good pathway for us. Right? If you pair 2 hitters for base hits, you're getting plus money. And I wonder if there's like a round robin thing in there somewhere. And this is not a cop-out. This is just being honest, as always. Yes, it would appear on its face that using the highest implied team total would mean, would get you closer to the highest scoring team of the day. However, got to be careful, right? Using averages against using spikes. That's a little off. We might find, right, again, that's not particularly modeled for the highest score. That's the highest mean outcome. Those are different. We've seen DFS people kind of build in those, right, those spike 99th percentile outputs in order to win a milli. And we might be kind of doing this wrong, right, where you might actually look for, sounds stupid, but like the worst bullpen. Like, you could have a situation where you have the highest score, the highest implied team total, is still facing a great bullpen because of all the starter stuff and averages, and that, like, those numbers are correct. However, they would probably be dinged if we're looking for the highest that day, right? Where that's what I'm getting at, is I think the worst bullpens, meaning I haven't modeled this, and that's why you see me talk about it a little bit less, and you made the light bulb go off for the hitter, was we might find the worst bullpens are more directly correlated to complete implosions and the highest score allowed. Because we may have nailed the starter, right? Our starter goes out and gives up fucking 6, but it's a good bullpen and they flatten it. You score 7 or 8, it's not enough to win it. Where the other guy, the starter only gave up 3, but then the bullpen got fucking mowed and destroyed. So the hitter stuff is built for the task at hand. So not for too much of a wild ride, but I think it's important for everybody to see how to build an attack plan. And just because you like something and want to play it, maybe that's not it. So I'm not saying to run away from the highest team totals, but I hope I did a good job of showing people where those things might not be fully congruent. And if you're playing something on the tab, like Jason, I appreciate you, man, because if you see him in the thread, cut my guy some slack here, bro. He's always looking to just help people to use the stuff. Again, Brooklyn Zone, you and me, cop up status, achieved and approved. Greatly appreciated from all of you. We got Phil Hunt up in there. Appreciate it. Just there's so much going on here. I definitely, just want to say thanks and thanks and thanks and thanks. So let's get out of here. We're going to get in right under the hour mark. That will do it from all of us here at Corked Stats, where this isn't madness.
This is Sparta!
I could just listen to that shit over and over again. So let's get the hell out of here, all right? Are you ready? You feeling good? You feeling good? Let's go get them, yo. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the day. When we done with the book, enjoy the pay. And remember, when you work this freaking hard, man, winning feels a lot less like luck, yo.